Welcome to Day and Night News Prime Debate. In India, especially, the idea of beauty is often associated with fairness. Fairness creams abound in the market and advertisements glorify fair skin. Is our national obsession with fair skin perhaps a hangover of colonial dominance? Do men no longer want to be tall, dark and handsome? Why is fair skin the barometer of beauty? That's what we're going to discuss on our Prime Debate. Well, it's true that people in India have a huge craze of getting a fair skin complexion. Most Indians who are dark brown in color are quite ashamed of their skin color and will do anything to get a fairer skin.
100 emotions flitting across large expressive eyes, lustrous innocent skin, a mouth like Cupid's bow, a voice like tinkling bells, and an easy swaying unself-conscious gait. Topped with the kindness of heart, nature has blessed a woman with song, and to think that all that counts for nothing if it's not on a fair face. For thousands in the country, especially in the northern region, beauty is synonymous with fairness. You have matrimonial ads seeking slim, beautiful, very fair brides. You have dermatologists flooded with queries from desperate mothers who want their daughters to be a shade or two lighter. You have showrooms filled with cosmetics that provide radically altered complexions to dusky and perfectly healthy women. And then you have scores of people who fall for it. Where does this fascination for fair skin stem from? Is it a vestige of a colonial past? Or is it a reflection of the class and caste divides that our society has suffered from? Is it a fad that refuses to fade out? Or is it an overly simplistic view of beauty? Whatever it is, it has not done us any good. Countless people have suffered injuries in an attempt to alter their complexions.
And to discuss this issue, we have in our studios Dr. Mallika Sachdev, she's a dermatologist, Neerja Gujral, a homemaker, Suchint Dhillon, a professional chef, and Donna Suri, the editor-at-large of Day and Night News. Well, thank you all for being with us in our studio. But Dr. Mallika, if I may begin with you, what is this huge obsession of fairness?
This stems to a long time back when everyone thought that beauty is synonymous with fairness. So I think that concept has to change, because everyone thought that color is the prime thing which reflects your beauty, which is not really true. So this is where the whole thing started, and that is building up as time goes by. You would think as people would get educated, they would realize that, you know, there's so many things which show in a person's face. It's his personality, his way of talking, his attitude. But as children are growing up and the newer generation comes up, maybe it would change, because the educated children are now more at large. But in the long run, this concept has to change, and people have to understand that beauty is not color.
But how many people do you actually get, you know, in your clinic who want a fairer skin?
You'd be surprised. I have lots of young boys and young girls. It's not only young girls, it's boys also. That vanity for color is never going to change. And especially it's during the marriageable age. You find the mothers pushing the daughters, the men coming and looking for fair brides for their sons. So this thing is very, very common. Luckily, because we are in north of India, we still have a lot of fair population. But then south, coming to the east, west, lower down, that consciousness is still there. But it's still as bad as it used to be.
Mrs. Gujral, I mean, if I look at you, I would say, wow, beautiful, nice. So being in North India, especially because this obsession with fairness and with so many people around who are so fair, would you ever at any point of time felt that, oh God, I wish I was a shade fairer?
No, never. I've never come across anybody telling me ke nahi.
What would they turn around and say, wow, you're gorgeous the way you are? Would they say that often?
Many times I've had the compliment.
But what would you say? I mean, around you, when you see people all the time with that obsession with fairness, do you sort of say something?
Definitely, one feels it should not be like that. You know, girls are, as they should be educated and they should be able to stand on their feet. Not necessarily just by their skin they are qualified to be married, or they are qualified to be called smart. Not the color of the skin is not should not be the criteria.
But do you think there's a slight change now, or is it as obsessive as it always was?
Younger generation is definitely much smarter, and they know that this is not the thing which matters.
Let's hear it from Suchint. She's the younger generation. So Suchint, what would you say about this whole fairness,
No, I really don't think it matters whether you're fair or dark, as long as you're able to stand for what you are and are confident about how you represent yourself and what you are. I don't think there should be a problem in doing anything you feel like doing. Like, that's how it goes these days.
And what about amongst your peers? What about the girls around you? I mean, I know beauty is such a huge issue.
There is, but as long as, there is a stage where you really want to be fair and really want to look good. But then you reach a stage where you know that, if you're confident about what you are, you really don't need to be beautiful. As long as you know you're a good person, you're a clean-hearted soul, you really don't need to be beautiful.
I mean, beauty would come out naturally, of course. Because you're doing so well and you're confident about what you do.
As long as you're confident and you're honest about what you do, I don't think there's a problem with anything. Like, you are yourself, you are what you are.
What would you say is this whole thing? Is it thanks to the media, that television, the advertisements, it's the beauty pageants which have suddenly come out?
I don't think it's the beauty pageants, but I think it's the lack of education. I think it's the lack of confidence that people have because of the lack of education that they have, that they're not able to represent themselves, put forward what they have, and not able to face 10% of the population that calls themselves educated and that is confident about presenting themselves further.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. We have Donna with us, and she's from America, and she's been living in India for the longest time. So Donna, when you came to India, were you like favored because, Westerner and that right?
I think the type of people who form a conclusion just on the basis of the way you look, these would be perhaps rickshawalas and dobbies and not the highly educated type who tend to form their educations on their opinions on what you have to say or what you do or
no, but come on, honestly,
what I will say is that I have noticed, let us say some student girl here from Nigeria or from Kenya. Now I have seen those girls get a very hard time, and I have seen that many Indians in fact are frightened of people with really black complexions. And perhaps it's because of the complexion and perhaps it's because of their culture. Their culture is also very different. So if you compare, let us say, the way people would react to me and the way they would react to a girl from Nigeria or
absolutely from the dark
there is definitely a difference. Now, okay, I have been on the lucky side of it sometimes, although I have also had people jump to the conclusion that I was some kind of hippie who was, sneaking off around the corner to smoke my chillum,
Of course, that comes with it. But what I mean to say is that a little still, everybody is a little more fairer to the fair skin, let's put it that way.
I have had people call me Mem Saab, and golly, it gets my goat every time.
Yes, see, it is Mem Saab.
Please,
so, and
I want
honestly,
to shrink up and shrivel up and die.
Yeah, honestly, there has been a study where they have shown you photographs of people who are from the Western side who are all fair, and you are like, okay, the moment you put a dark complexion person, a person maybe from Africa, there is a slight hesitation. Is that true? Is that got anything to do?
I would not only say we are not talking about the African or the American. If you talk within our own country, even when you go for a job offer, the personality is the first thing which hits a person. You've gone for a job.
Yes.
The person on the other side looks at your color, your appearance, your personality. All this is a very major part of what sells you as a product.
Yes.
The expertise comes later, which is very sad. This is seen in all corporate offices. Do what you may.
Exactly.
The guy on the other side,
educated class, even the educated class
is doing just the same.
Yes.
It's a part of it. They start working on the educational qualification at a little later point. This I have known even with, I will not mention because my kids are also this generation, so I have seen them going to jobs and this feedback has come back from my children itself to say that, the appearances make a lot of difference.
Yes.
The color makes a difference because that, if a person is a little darker or is, dressed a little shabbily, or I would not say shabbily, I would just, but all these things do play there's an impact on the person who's interviewing them, which is really sad because that person's educational expertise is something you should be going by. But The looks do matter. First impressions is always the looks.
Yes.
Professionally, matrimonially, in all aspects.
No, but I don't think fairness comes into the picture.
It
then.
does.
It does,
You
it does,
are, yet
definitely
you,
does
your
in
gen.
our
I'm not
India.
saying that it's right. I'm not
Yeah.
taking. But I'm trying to tell you, because you have not been through that scenario yet. These children have yet to see it. They haven't been through it. But this is what generally has been happening in the last few years, and I agree it's going to change now, because now these children know how to give it back, to be able to assert themselves. It will make a difference. But this
Yeah,
is the newer generation.
You're probably right, because you're then able to stand up for what you believe in.
You have the gumption to say,
Yeah.
I'm good at it and I should be there.
Yeah, of course.
But this is going to start now, because you are a few yet.
Yeah, there's,
You're the
there's not
blessed
too
few.
many of us.
You're
yeah.
the blessed few. The general, you are North Indian, blessed children who've been brought up with the best education, who've gone abroad, who has the ability to talk for themselves. You can, okay, maybe rectify this thing. But in the earlier stages, and what's been happening till today, because we've seen the last 20 years, and it's everywhere.
No,
Professionally,
I
I would
agree
tell you
with
at
you.
medical college, when I was giving an interview, the way I spoke, the way I looked, the way second person looked, third, there was always a difference. You could feel the vibes. You can make it out. You've not been through it yet. We have. So we know that all these things do play a role. They have been playing a role. They will change. I agree it will change, but it will take a long time, because the education is coming up, but it's not all of them. How many of us?
Yeah,
of
there's
our
not too
generation
many
is-
of the
there are not too many
educated
of you.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, our kids are the you know, privileged
few.
ones.
Yeah.
But you have to look at it
In
as
totality,
in
yeah.
totality,
In
as a
totality,
scenario.
Yeah.
And I hope it changes, because it should. It is ridiculous going by one's color. That
It's
is-
not, because there's so many people who are capable of more than what the other person is, even though he's
Absolutely,
fairer
because you are
than
looking
what
at
he
a
is.
person's expertise. You're taking him for a job or something, or even for a matrimonial. The person should be clicking on a one-to-one level, not on a
Not because he's fair
not
or
because
dark,
he's
yeah.
fair or he's dark or he's stubby or he's fat. I mean, you know,
because in India the obsession with marriage is still on.
it is.
Yeah,
it is.
it
It's
is.
very
And,
much.
and that's where the fairness obsession
Because
doesn't
I
go
get
away.
those, because I know it's a typical marriageable age is when the parents and the mothers and they all start panicking. So I can, you know, and I feel so terrible, because that girl is so pretty.
Yeah.
You know, you find dark girls are so much more attractive. They have lovely features. They have clear skins, because they don't, you know, people with fair skins are the ones who are maximally damaged because of the sun and wrinkles. And the darker ones are prettier, more attractive. If only they had the confidence to project it and say, okay, we are good. And mothers don't help. You know, the mothers, the surrounding paraphernalia doesn't let that
whole
child's
family
confidence come
thinks
through. Because the
it is
first thing
not
is Kali. That is wrong. That has to
Yeah.
be broken.
Yeah.
Kali does not mean she's
That
not
is a
beautiful.
mindset that's been
Mindset.
going on
It
for
has to
ages,
change,
and that
yeah,
needs
because
to be changed.
You have to look at a person's
around for
beauty
so
in
long.
totality. But that is something which has to change with the new times.
Yeah.
And
The saddest
parents
thing is
have-
to think that it's a mother who destroys her own daughter.
she
that
does.
way.
Indirectly she does. The family and the mother is who works on the child psyche.
Knowingly or unknowingly, the mother does
Yeah,
it.
the mother doesn't, I know, it might be
And the
unknowing,
mother
but she
tells
doesn't
her,
mean
hey,
to.
The person
you
who
are
should